I started at art very young. I had a much older sister, and she taught me a lot before I was even in school. And so I really got hooked on art at a very early age, and I excelled at it all through, elementary and high school. And I just, life sidetracks you sometimes. You have to make a living, and my father didn't encourage me to pursue that. He didn't think that art was the way to make a living. So it became one of those garage projects, when you have time, or maybe I'll get some paint and I'll do a painting, because I really, in 2006, decided that I was no longer continuing the career field that I was in. I went through a really rough period where I didn't know what I was going to do or how I was going to make a living, and so there was a little more to it there. Both of my parents passed away in '07, and so once I got through all of that, it was like, life is just too short. You need to make a decision and figure out a way to make a living at something that you love, and do this, and make it work. I'm still in the experimenting phase, and I think as I mentioned before, all artist work evolves. The more you experiment, the more you use your paintbrush, the more you're able to express. And my range has changed a lot. I mean, I really enjoy vibrant colors, and I enjoy just painting and seeing what happens on the canvas. So some of the other things that I'm trying to do now are recreate the sense of a place or a person on canvas, maybe out of a photograph or someone I meet, instead of just being something that I imagine. Although I have fun with that too. I actually was born in Seattle and didn't live there for very long before we moved to the east side of the mountains, and grew up in a little town called Winthrop, Washington. And then I lived away from Seattle for a long time. I went to the UW and then joined the Air Force as a reservist. Anyway, so I was gone for a long time, and I moved back to Tacoma in January of '05. The people of Tacoma haven't really discovered what a gem it is, for the most part. There are opportunities everywhere. Downtown is undeveloped, for the most part, but here we are in the Jet Building, and really at the heart of a renaissance that's happening in downtown Tacoma. And I think you could see that based on the number of artists that are moving in. Being here on the edge of the university campus, we get a lot of traffic through, even on the weekends. And our little shop up front was open on a Saturday, and one of the librarians came through from the university, and she's like, "Oh, this is terrific," So they're really happy to see more activity here, and I think that over the next year or two, we're probably going to see it happen even more. Well, let's say, for example, I started this fish series, and I just felt like I wanted to paint some koi. I really wanted to do a series of fish. And so I got into that color, and that's what I did, and I just kind of produced that. So sometimes I'll sit down and I'll take some travel magazines out, just something to say, what do I feel like today, to get started. That 4 or 5 hour period, maybe the first 30 minutes are looking through photographs from Italy or through a travel magazine, and then kind of figuring out what I want to do. If I want to continue with a series in that particular style, do I want to do some landscapes? And jewelry is, I look at catalogs, I look at magazines, or maybe I just go out and I look at a trend and what the fashion looks like, and I pick a color, and then I start working with that color. Get up, get up, get up, you men and women, walk on, walk on, walk on. I started out volunteering at Tacoma Art Place up on the hilltop. And I just happened to come down here with my friend Linda Danforth, and I hadn't really thought about having my own studio space. I'd been painting in my garage and packing canvases around with me, painting in my living room, painting in my kitchen, and it hadn't occurred to me that I could possibly have my own space. And so I just happened to be down here with her, and she goes, "Oh, you have to come see the Jet Building." And I went to the top floor, and I went, "Yeah, I want this space." And it just opened up my whole world. I hauled canvases in. I was no longer limited by the size or of product I could bring into my space. I could paint big, I could paint small, and you really, once you have people around you to talk about it, you get out of your shell. You know, it's one thing to have your art at home. For me, to get in that studio here in the Jet Building was really kind of an affirming process, because I had all these other artists that said, oh, I love that piece, that is so great. Where before I just thought, oh, well, you know, I'll give it to my friends if they like it. The 253 Collective is a new project that 10 different artists have started here in the Jet Building. And so the 253 Collective is a little shop we have in the front of the Jet Building. We all pay like $20 a month to be a part of this cooperative, and in exchange for that, we each have, for that low rent, we each have jobs to do. You know, like I do marketing, and there's another gal that will do our website, and somebody else that does the painting or the picture hanging. But we're open every Saturday and Sunday from noon to 5, and then every third Thursday art walk. And we alternate staffing, so we never have to pay anybody's wage to work there. We all take turns staffing it. You know, I volunteer at the Tacoma Art Place, and most of the work that I do for that organization is in the background. Recently there was a gal up there. She was showing me all of her knitted hats that she made, and she wanted to order some business cards, and so I pulled out my computer and I'm like, let me show you how you could do that. Well, at the time I just started talking to her, and I didn't realize that, you know, I didn't know her situation, I didn't know anything about her. I just knew that she was making these really great hats, you know, while we're sitting there at Tacoma Art Place. And so I pulled out my computer and I pulled up this printing website and showed her that she could get, you know, 250 business cards for like $5. And so we sat there and did this design, and she was crying. She started crying, and then she started telling me this whole story, and I'm like, oh. So I ordered her some business cards, and she called me like a week ago and said, oh, I got those cards in the mail, and she was really, really thankful. But, you know, sometimes just being able to give someone that inspiration when they don't think anything is possible in their life, I mean, art does that, especially when someone appreciates it.